Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a bit of a step back, looking into something really fundamental, the concept of home.
Yeah, and we're using this really interesting set of lyrics by Allison McLean. They're really like poetry, sure, but underneath, there's almost this philosophical blueprint for belonging.
Exactly. So, our mission today isn't really about analyzing this song structure like meter or rhyme scheme.
No, not at all. We want to sort of crack open the words themselves, pull out the core ideas, the metaphors she's using.
We're trying to synthesize what these lyrics suggest about existence, connectedness, and ultimately how we define our place.
Right, and what's immediately striking, isn't it?
It really is. You think home, and your mind goes to like a house, a specific place.
Four walls, a roof, maybe street name?
But here the concept ticks off not with a building, but with this huge shared body of water, an ocean.
Which, I mean, that just completely shifts the frame from the very beginning. It sets this really different tone, talking about universal connection.
It forces you to think bigger, doesn't it, about the scale of belonging.
Definitely. Home stops being this
Hmm.
this exclusive thing you own, something private.
Yeah, like a deed to a property.
Exactly. And it becomes something more communal, almost primal, shared.
It definitely elevates the conversation. It's less about my space and more about the shared fabric of existence.
So let's unpack that central metaphor then.
Yeah.
The chorus really feels like the spine of the whole idea.
Mm-hmm. As we swim in the ocean, we view the same sea.
Okay, so if the sea is the home,
Then it's this single continuous environment, right?
Yeah.
Shared by everyone, everything.
precisely. The water itself, the very substance we're in, it's non-exclusive by its nature. That's a profound shift.
Because if the environment is shared, then your existence, my existence, it's all fundamentally tangled up together.
If we're all in the same sea, our claim to that space, it's inherently equal. It's more of an ecological definition of home than, say, an economic one.
Okay, but let's push back on that a little. That sounds incredibly idealistic, doesn't it? I mean, in the real world, we absolutely define our homes by exclusion. We build fences, draw borders, put up walls specifically to keep others out. How does this lovely shared ocean idea square with those very real physical barriers?
That's actually where the metaphor gets its power, I think. The lyric is basically arguing that those fences, those borders, they're real on one level.
Uh-huh. Conventions we've built.
Exactly. Conventions built on top of more fundamental reality. They're just surface things.
Hmm.
Underneath all the boats and the lines on maps, the water, the essence of it all is still connected, still shared.
So the source material is saying we're focusing on these like temporary human constructs.
Instead of the maybe more immutable truth of our shared environment. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that reframing definitely makes the next part hit harder. It's not just a nice sentiment, it's almost like a requirement.
The as home is to you, so it is to me line.
Yeah.
It feels like a kind of philosophical contract, doesn't it? It insists that belonging has to be rooted in recognizing each other
You can't claim your own place in this shared sea.
without also validating everyone else's place at the same time.
Yeah.
It's arguing for empathy as like a basic condition for even having your own sense of home.
So accepting that shared reality is key. And then if you follow that thought into the outro, the language shifts slightly, but it's fascinating.
It moves from defining the concept of home.
To accepting the nature of things, right? It is as it is to you, it is as it is to me.
That small change, it really emphasizes acceptance. Like, this is just how things are.
You can't argue with the fundamental reality we're in.
The shared sea, yeah. The mountains are mountains, the water flows. And if we can mutually acknowledge and accept that shared reality, well, then maybe we can feel truly at home in it.
Okay, so we've got this big picture. The universal home is the shared sea. But, you and I, everyone listening, we don't live on that massive scale day to day. We live in our bodies.
Right. So how do we bring this huge oceanic idea down to the tangible reality of just being a person?
And that's where the first verse comes in, I think.
Yeah.
It grounds it all in something really personal and physical. It talks about existence as a series of gifts.
And what's so interesting is how it shifts from that sort of sublime, universal view right down to the sensory. The lyrics define these gifts not as like external blessings dropped on us, but as the actual tools we need to be present.
Like the presence itself.
The world and experience, to have and behold,
Which implies that finding home isn't about searching for some external place or thing.
but about fully inhabiting the moment you're already in, using the gear you already have.
And that list of gear is what makes it so concrete, so memorable. It's a very specific breakdown.
It really is. And if you look closely, the body is set up as the initial non-negotiable place of belonging.
You can't connect to the universal sea until you're grounded in your own physical self.
Right. The lyric lists the instruments needed. Eyes for the vision, ears for the sound, heart for the feeling.
And then feet for the ground.
Which feels crucial, doesn't it?
That line, feet for the ground, it's such a powerful anchor. If we connect this back, the really radical idea seems to be that the sensory experience comes first. Without that physical anchor, that connection the feet provide, maybe the other senses, sight, sound, they could just become noise, distraction.
Absolutely. The feet on the ground provide the gravity. It centers the whole experience.
Yeah.
And look at heart for the feeling.
Yeah.
It's not just about having emotions, is it? It suggests having the capacity for vulnerability, for compassion, for that deep emotional landscape you need to feel connected to others in that shared sea.
So being home means being fully embodied, sensory.
It really simplifies that whole often anxious search for belonging. It's like the lyrics are saying, stop looking outside yourself for that feeling of home.
Because you're carrying the whole kit.
The complete operational mechanism for belonging is right here, right now, inside you.
That makes a lot of sense, especially, today when maybe people feel like they live more in their heads or online.
Right, tethered to screens, abstract ideas.
Less in their bodies. These lyrics give us almost a checklist for embodiment. If you're using your eyes, ears, heart, and feet consciously.
Then, by definition, you are home.
Okay. So that powerful sensory grounding then leads into the second verse. And here, the experience seems to deepen, to become about profound self-discovery.
Yeah, the lyrics say, to walk in this presence, an experience quite profound, and that leads to being newly found.
So what happens when we actually use all that sensory equipment properly?
Well, the verse suggests we realize that belonging requires this radical self-acceptance, and it's articulated in what might be the most sweeping, almost shocking line in the whole piece.
Which one?
All that exists, all that's around, is for me to be me, and home on this ground.
Wow, that is a huge claim. It sounds like it's saying the entire world, the universe even, exists just to validate my individual identity.
And support it, yeah.
Yeah.
It links self-acceptance directly, like irrevocably, to belonging.
It kind of flips the script on how we usually think about our relationship with the environment, doesn't it? Like, it's a struggle.
Exactly. It suggests the world isn't some obstacle course you have to fight through. Instead, it's the supportive framework that actually makes your specific you-ness possible.
So home is achieved when you accept that supportive relationship, when you stop fighting who you are.
Essentially, yes, you belong when you embrace being you right here on this ground.
And then the supportive environment, it starts to communicate. The lyrics bring in nature imagery that seems to speak to us, offer guidance.
The ground speaks mountains, and the river flows and glistens.
It sets up this dialogue, right, between our inner world and the outer landscape.
Yeah, the mountains maybe represent stability, permanence, challenge, and the river speaks of movement, flow, inevitable change. They aren't just passive scenery.
They're teachers.
Instructors, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is crucial, this instruction, this guidance, it comes with a condition, a major precondition.
Which is probably the most actionable part of the whole thing, and maybe the hardest. The need for stillness.
If we are still enough within, it guides us as we listen.
The world's talking all the time.
Constantly. But our internal noise, the endless chatter about goals, worries, plans, distractions, it drowns it out.
So the stillness is like the tuning knob.
It's the prerequisite for translation, yeah. It's about quieting the self enough so that those external lessons, permanence from the mountains, change from the rivers, can actually sink in as wisdom.
But in our world, hyper-connected, pinging notifications, what does stillness even look like practically? It can't mean just sitting silently all day.
No.
How do we find that stillness to hear the world while still, functioning?
That's the real challenge today, isn't it? I think stillness in this context isn't necessarily the absence of thought or action. It's more about receptivity.
Okay.
It's like tuning your internal radio to pick up that faint, steady signal from the world. It means maybe pausing the constant need to judge or fix or change the environment.
And just allowing yourself to listen to what the moment is actually offering.
Exactly. That quietude allows the me, the self, accepted in the second verse, to really take root and feel genuinely at home on the ground.
Okay, wow. This has definitely been a deep dive. We've unpacked quite a few layers here that you might miss just reading it as, a nice poem.
For sure.
So let's try and bring it all back together for everyone listening. We started with this big idea, the universal home as a shared ocean needing mutual recognition.
Then we narrowed it down to the physical body, the self, as the primary site of belonging, equipped with these sensory gifts for being present.
And finally, we found that profound existence, that guidance, comes through radical self-acceptance and this crucial need for internal stillness, all anchored to the ground beneath our feet.
It really presents a complete system, doesn't it? Home isn't just a building you live in.
No, it's a state of being.
Fully embodied, universally connected, and internally receptive to how the world supports you.
Yeah.
It's almost like a manual for living a deeply present life.
And building on that powerful idea, the mountains and rivers speaking, the stillness needed to hear them. Maybe we can leave you with a final thought to consider. You're always standing on some kind of ground, right? But that ground changes. It could be city pavement, the carpet in your office, garden soil, maybe even the virtual ground of an online community.
All very different textures, different environments.
So the question to mull over is, how do those different types of ground you encounter speak to you? And what specific kind of stillness, maybe stepping away from a screen, maybe pausing judgment, maybe just feeling gravity, what stillness do you need to actually hear the particular guidance offered by that unique ground?
Pondering the difference between what the mountain speaks and what the pavement speaks. That's a powerful challenge.
Something to think about. Thank you for joining us for the deep dive.
We'll catch you next time.